ZIA, you can introduce yourselves.
Good afternoon, Chair, and good afternoon, Committee. My name is Dr. Nalukui Muwindwa. I'm the President or Chairperson for the Zambia Institute of Estate Agents.
Good afternoon, Chair and Honorables. My name is David Kapalov. I'm the Vice Chairperson of the Zambia Institute of Estate Agents. Thank you.
Switch off your mic and then allow the lady.
Chair, good afternoon, members of Parliament. My name is Eta Hantumbu, Chief Executive Officer of the Zambia Institute of Estate Agents.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, members of Parliament. My name is Maliango Probi. I'm the Council Member for Zambia Institute of Estate Agents.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair, and good afternoon, members of Parliament. My name is Ango Sankan, the Council Members for the Zambia Institute of Estate Agents. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, committee members. My name is Netsai Mwanga, and I'm a council member for the Zambia Institute of Estate Agents.
Thank you very much. I'm Michael Katambo, MP for Masait Parliamentary Constituency, and I'm the Vice Chairperson of this committee. So Zambia Institute of Agents, as you appear before this committee or any other committee of Parliament to assist in its deliberations before it, you are protected under Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia. This grants us, members of Parliament, immunity against prosecution for what we say while in the House. The same immunity is extended to yourselves. This means that the information you release to this committee cannot be used against you outside Parliament or indeed in the courts of law. However, should you deliberately or willfully mislead or misinform this committee, the same law can be used against you. But I have no doubt in my mind that this won't be necessary, as you choose to be factual and truthful in your submission. Is 15 minutes okay in your submission?
Yes, Chair.
Please, you may go ahead.
Sure, thank you. Good afternoon, Chair, and good afternoon. Firstly, I would like to appreciate that finally, as Zambia Institute of Estate Agents, we are now being recognized, because this is an institute that was created under Parliament in 2000, and up to now, most of the people do not know it. But we are really happy now with the political will that is there, that at least we are able to be called for such important deliberations. So to start, I mentioned, as an institute, we are really humbled that we were called to make comments on the two bills. That's the first bill on the Land Survey Amendment Bill on number 12 of 2026, and the Agricultural Lands Amendment Bill number 31 of 2026. So our general position is that we really acknowledge the government's effort in ensuring that there's proper land governance and reforms in this country. And as ZIA, we strongly caution that without firm enforcements of these amendments that we are making, we'll still have risk in failing to address these matters of the land market or disorder in the land market, which is currently going on. So as ZIA, we have also noted that currently these are the issues that we are going through. There's a rampant illegal land subdivisions, increased land disputes, a widespread of use of unregistered agents. I must emphasize that most of these activities are being done by unregistered real estate agents, and it is because there are some sectors of our economy and even some government institutions that have tried hard to shrink the powers of ZIA by using unregistered agents for their benefits. So this is why we are seeing a number of illegal subdivisions of land. And also what we have also observed as ZIA is a weak collaboration or coordination among regulatory institutions. So what we have observed is that most of the professional institutes wants to start fighting against each other instead of working together to meet one common goal. So these are some of the issues that we noticed, and we thought as ZIA we can make our submission in that regard. So firstly, I'll start now quickly to run through what we have, the comments that we have on the Land Survey Amendment Bill. The first one is our submission is that there should be a mandatory verification of all survey diagrams before any transaction is completed, and that they should. The second one is an integration of the survey systems with the land registry and the local authority planning systems. We feel will really help us if they can synchronize and work hand in hand. The information that sits at the local authority should be the same information that sits at the land registry, and it should be the same information that sits also in the survey system. Then the third one is criminalization of illegal survey activity with strict penalties. Our submission is that we want to see a strict penalties for illegal surveys that are going around in our country. So because if there's the continuity of the absence of a digital cadastral system is what is causing a lot of issues for double allocation, encroachments, to mention but a few. So we want, if this submission can be undertaken, it will help, because once a land is surveyed and it sits in the system of the cadastre, it should be the same, just as I mentioned, in the local registers, in the local authority registers, and even at the planning department. Then that is basically what we observed concerning the land survey bill, and also just to appreciate that as ZIA we were added on the board for the land survey bill, because that is very important. Most of these issues that you see, Chair and members of Parliament, that happen is because there's an agent involved somewhere. When a person comes to look for a property to buy, whether it's or whether they want to do a housing estate, or whether they want to set up a mine, the first person that they meet is an agent. And if that agent misleads them, then it means that a lot of issues will come in place. So we are very glad that we've been added to the board. The second one I will now go to, I don't know whether there are any questions at this stage.
No,
I can proceed. Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. So our comments on the Agricultural Lands Amendment Bill is that as Zambia Institute of Estate Agents, our first submission is agricultural land being converted into residential plots without proper approvals. And we have seen this. Most of the people, they will just wake up, they acquire a piece of start subdividing, start selling, and even involving us as agents. But because there's no law or bill that automatically works at the moment to avoid the sale, things are being done in reverse. So the land is subdivided and sold before it is approved, from agriculture, for example, to residential. So we are very happy. This is the reason I even mentioned earlier, to say we are happy that we are now involved, because then we can make a submission and our voice be heard for that which puts food on our table. So the second or submission that we have is that there's a practice of undermining national food security and planning systems. So you see, the practice of continuous conversion of agricultural land into residential, if we continue, because we're not just looking at ourselves now, we look at what will happen in the near future in terms of land use practices. If we continue just allowing certain lands to be from agricultural land into residential properties, we'll notice that we are going to have a very serious problem in the near future, where we do not have anywhere where we can have a chance to the nation, and also planning systems are very difficult. To give an example, there are some areas, like for example in Lilai, where there used to be farms, and now most of the areas have been changed into mixed use. You will notice that here there's a house, the next plot has got a farm, and they're doing a poultry or a piggery, and people are being affected in that manner. So these acts actually have come at a right time. And we'll now plan our country to ensure that there's proper land use for sustainable development. The Zambia Institute of Estate Agents also, we further recommend that, one, there should be strict approval frameworks for land use conversion. For example, most of the land, as we are aware, sits on customary land. So there's usually a conversion from customary to state land title, and there's no restriction. Once someone just starts to get a piece of land, they'll get a piece of land, and then they start converting it. So there should be a framework that decides, say, okay, even if this area sits in Lukulu and one has gotten it, what is it going to be used for? Is it going to be for mining? Is it going to be for agriculture? Is it going to be for apartments, so to mention but a few. So we feel there should be proper controls and frameworks in the approvals of these land conversions. The second one is the mandatory involvement of planning authorities and registered professionals, like I mentioned. Currently, what is happening is that most of the developments are happening even before planning authority is given, and maybe it's because there's a gap in the planning frameworks, and also maybe the number of professionals are limited who are trained in planning. So these are some of the issues where registered professionals can come together to come up with a task force that can help to implement these things. Then the third one is severe penalties for illegal subdivision, just as I earlier mentioned. If any land, because we have noticed when we talk of agriculture, it's not just about cultivation, there's also livestock. We have wetlands where some areas which are supposed to be meant for grazing land, we have found that those areas have been sold and subdivided for sale. And because every one of us wants to put food on the table, you find that those things are already approved, and then we start now affecting, even the aquifers are affected, because some of these areas are supposed to be areas which is storage for our water, for proper environmental management systems. So as here, we strongly feel that once these frameworks and penalties are put in place, it will really help. Then an addition of ZIA on the Agricultural Land Board to provide guidance as well, because just as I earlier mentioned, there is no development that is happening in the air, and most of this development, when it is happening, whether someone is or wherever, the first person they'll contact is an agent or a person who is dealing in property land sales. So if that person is not aware, we have found situations where people have sold land, like I mentioned, in the grazing land. They've sold land even as far as forest reserves, to mention but a few. So we want to ensure that these things, if they are put in place, we are sure that we are going to have proper, sustainable land use practices in this country. And then also, as estate agents, we feel that there should be serious controls to ensuring, like I'll keep on emphasizing on this issue, that illegal agents are not allowed. Illegal agents are illegal property developers. This is why there's even a draft bill, because letting these spaces, you find that anyone who wants can just wake up that day and decide, I'm cutting my farm into residential properties. So we just feel that we should have a strict enforcement of the ZIA Act number 21 of 2000, and if the bill comes before Parliament, it can quickly move. And also the criminal sanctions against individuals or working without registration, then legal recognitions of only estate agents to facilitate land transactions. What we mean is that not anyone should just wake up tomorrow and say, oh, I'm connecting a client to they are busy selling land without understanding what they are doing. Then lastly, we also want to recommend that they can be in the bills, if there can be enforcement of institutional coordination. Like I mentioned, there should be strong collaboration between the registered bodies, especially Ministry of Lands, local authorities, survey departments, ZIA, planning, to mention but a few. And then secondly, also to establish a joint enforcement framework. Then thirdly, increase funding for capacity building and monitoring. I understand that once this bill comes in order for it to be in full force, it will need funding. So it will be very important that if these aspects are consideration. In conclusion, as ZIA, we support these progressive reforms, but firmly emphasize that the success of these bills depends on enforcement, accountability, and recognition of professional bodies. Parliament is urged to adopt a firm stance to restore order, protect citizens, and safeguard Zambia's land resources. So our key As I conclude, one, establish a centralized digital land system. The second one, enforce strict penalties for illegal land dealings. Third, regulate land subdivision and conversion. The fourth, recognize and enforce the role of registered real estate agents. Number five, not the least, to strengthen inter-agency collaboration. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. So, honorable members, will engage you. We will do a mix on the two bills, the land survey and the agricultural lands amendment bills, number 12 and number 31 of 2026. In the ministry is coming up with this bill. Were you consulted?
No, when they were coming up with a bill, we're not. We were just, but we were given at the time when they wrote to us to make our comments. So this is why we have made these comments.
It is also your lamentation that there's limited representation in the agricultural lands bill.
Yes.
The smallholder farmers, women, land rights groupings, and local authorities. So what is your emphasis?
So our emphasis is that when we are coming up with the amendment bills, we have to ensure that all stakeholders involved are involved in the process.
If one recommends that the chairperson of the Agricultural Lands Board should come from the Zambia National Farmers Union so that the independence of the board is enhanced, what is your reaction?
I would 100% support that.
So, honorable members, any concerns? Honorable Mtacharo?
Thank you very much, Chair, for the opportunity. Zambia Institute of Estate Agents, thank you very much for your very wonderful support. First and foremost, I think I just want to agree with you, your observation that I think your inclusion on this board, I think will go a long way to improve land administration in this country. Yeah, indeed, we have situations where people are just converting land without following proper procedures, and that I think is a huge challenge. And our committee actually recently undertook a tour of Nansanga farming block. We find that those areas are specifically for farming, but mining activities and other illegal acts are taking place. So we are happy that you have responded positively. So I want to find out on the Land Surveyors Act, that is the representation, a representative from, is it from the religious organization. What is your view? Do you really think this particular representative will really help on this particular board? From the religious organization. Thank you.
Yes, you may respond. Try and switch. But it is us that is not switching on. That's how Bosch works. That's how Bosch works. Try to switch on.
Thank you very much for that question. As here, we actually feel that an involvement of all stakeholders will be key. Why do I say so? As Zambia being a Christian nation, we find that most, I know apart from being a Christian nation, we also have other religions like the Muslims and all of us are so much obliged to our religious groupings. This is where we learn a lot of things. So if we can also involve them, it will be very good, because that is where I will just take a simple step to say you have to start from Jerusalem. And mostly if we are taught from church, let's say for example, these things that we learn, like for the Christians at Sunday school and they make us learn a lot of things which we start impacting in our children while they are young. So the religious groupings are very important, because not only do they deal with the children growing up, but even ourselves as go to church, the religious leaders are involved in still molding our character day by day. And then we also notice that most of these religious groupings also are going into investments of getting portions of land to either build schools or build universities, or even just doing farming activities to support themselves. So basically for me, I would feel that it would be very important for them to be involved in the amendments of the bills.
The bills aim at enhancing private sector participation. Then there's the omission of the Zambia Institute of Valuation Surveyors. What is your reaction? Is it okay also that the Surveyor General is now just an ex-officio? Before he was the chairperson of the board. What is your reaction?
My reaction to that would be that it would be good to involve, like I said, all professional bodies, because if we involved, for example, the Zambia Institute of Valuation Surveyors, they will be able to give value, because their duty is to give value of property or land. So we cannot afford not to have them on that important. Actually, it is one of the observations we also made as ZIA. Maybe forgot to put it in, but we observed, of course, that they were omitted, and if there's still room, it would be very good to have them added onto the board. And on the issue of having the Surveyor General as an ex-officio, it would be very important, because then people would be free to express themselves, because if he's the one who is heading, it may be a little bit difficult for people to bring out issues, but it would be good that if he becomes an ex-officio of the committee.
The minister will appoint the chairperson of the board. Do you think there could be undue influence politically, that this chairperson would tilt his eyes or her eyes towards the appointing authority?
It's something that we may need to live with, that the minister is the regulator, or is at that particular point is the one that is given legislative powers. So we just hope that the minister will appoint without looking politically, and just ensure that the person that they are appointing is a professional that is able to carry things forward without any influence.
If board members appointed themselves or elected themselves a chairperson, vice chairperson?
That would actually be good.
Your concluding remarks? Honorable Banda?
Chair, and thank you, Zia, for the presentation. You echoed on the issue of implementation on a lot of registration which the country has. Maybe I just want to find out, where do you think we are missing it as a country, so that maybe we have these powerful registrations, but the implementation part, I think we are not doing well. Where is the problem? Maybe your take on that one. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You are very right. Most of the things that we have learnt ourselves in school and what we practice are two different things. So you find that there's a lot of legislation which we do not practice. Like I earlier even mentioned, I'll give a practical example of ourselves as ZIA, who were created in 2000. So if we calculate from 2000 to date, how many years have passed? But if you pass on the street and ask a simple person if they know what ZIA is, they would not know. So it's the only thing that we need is a political will and to ensure that the people that are entrusted with the powers to make sure that these laws are put into practice or are implemented do the right thing. So that is where the challenge is. It's what I'm supposed to do, but I just want to do things to please myself. I think that is where things get difficult, where people are trained. They even know what they're supposed to do, but they just overlook what they're supposed to do and decide to just please themselves in inverted commas. So the more we have Zambians becoming patriotic about these laws that we make, there are so many laws actually that are sitting into this law, into that law, and that. If you look at, for example, the ZEMA Act, if you look at the ZEMA Act, it actually gives guidelines on what is supposed to be done. But you find that when you go to implementation, certain things are not being done. Maybe because we have got too many laws, sometimes we get to wonder, because you sometimes one aspect of a certain part of the law sitting in more than 3 or 4 bills. So maybe one may have just concentrated on reading on one particular bill and not seeing the other one. So for me, I feel it would be very good that which we learn in school, we put it into practice, because this is the reason we learn, is because we want to take our country to. Thank you.
Madam, honorable members, any concern? Yes, Honorable Yotam.
Thank you, Chair. Witness, much as the government is trying by all means to enhance private sector participation in these boards, we still have some fears that since the minister will be appointing these members, there may be some invisible or political hands. Other stakeholders who have appeared before this committee, they have suggested that these members of these boards must be seek parliamentary approval, because currently I think only the constitution office holders seek parliamentary approval. So I wanted to get your comment on that one. Thank you.
And if one said there's need to define the role of the House of Chiefs representative, what would you say? Because others say it could be advisory role, or maybe it would take the full decision-making authority. So what is your reaction?
I would still echo what I said earlier, especially on the ministers having powers to appoint the board chairperson. I would still say it's okay for them to appoint and bring it before Parliament for ratification. That would be a good idea. I think that would be our submission. And then coming to the role of the House of Chiefs, I feel they should be more on the consultative part where they are consulted, because there are different traditional norms and beliefs in Zambia. As we are aware, we have over 73 ethnic groups, so they may all not be in the same boats or reasoning in the same manner, in inverted commas. So we feel they can be consulted, but they can be more on the consultative part and not on the decision making.
Yes, your concluding remarks, Madam.
Just to thank the committee for having this time to present ourselves before you, and just to appreciate that you are really taking matters of land administration in Zambia seriously, because you know land is not going to be created again. We only have that we are stepping on, and if we do not take care of it, we are going to have serious problems in the future. So we really appreciate the efforts that the government is putting in to ensure that there's proper land administration for sustainable development. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we started our deliberations, I had conferred upon you Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia that granted you immunity. Allow me now, at this point in time, to remove this immunity so that you may carry on the important national duties and have a blessed day.
Thank you, Chair, and most obliged.
I won't give you roses. I'm not so romantic. My brain is bombastic. Baby, I'm a hard one. I don't want your money, but we could drink it anyways. We could drink it either ways. We could drink it otherwise. Don't you want to fall in love? Don't you want to fall in love with someone? Baby, I got the groove. I got the groove that can make you in love. Don't you wanna be with me? Don't you wanna be with someone someday? I know you've been broken. You don't believe in love anymore.